Hello everyone, this is tutorial is all about meshing global mesh control part 1 in ANSYS Workbench. So before starting with ANSYS Workbench, it is very important to learn the basic terms and definitions which are related with meshing. So learning in the video is given in the next slide. So here the first is what is meshing, type of elements, how to decide type of elements, how to start meshing, quality checks and global mesh control. That is in ANSYS Workbench part 1. So let's begin with what is meshing. So basic idea of FEA is to make calculation at only limited or finite number of points and then interpolate the result for entire domain, that is surface or volume. So first we have to calculate the unknown parameters at only a limited number of points and then we have to interpolate this result for the entire domain. Then it is very difficult for a body which having a continuous structure. That means it has infinite degrees of freedom and it is not possible to solve the given problem for this type of object. Therefore, finite element method reduces the degree of freedom from infinite to finite with the help of discretization, or we can say meshing, that is nodes and element. So let's consider example. So here object, one of the object is given and this object is discretized using the predefined shapes, that is triangular shapes, that is known as elements, and then these elements are connected here with the points that is known as nodes. So all the calculations will be done at these nodes and then these results for these unknowns are interpolated for the entire domain. So this is the background of the FEA softwares. So next is elements and nodes. The total equation for the mesh model is equal to the number of nodes multiplied by number of degrees of freedom per node. So if you want to find the equations for the given problem, then it is very important to know the number of nodes and the degrees of freedom per node. So here one of the example is given for a continuous object has a number of points, infinite number of points, and like we can say infinite. So here degrees of freedom per point is 6. Therefore total equation of this problem is infinite. But same case can be solved by using FEA or FEA method. Here the number of nodes are 8 and the degrees of freedom per node is 6. Therefore total number of equations are 48. So in this way we can solve the given problem by using the FEA. So there are different types of elements are available, that is one dimensional element, two dimensional element and three dimensional element. So the types of elements is as given below. The first is one dimensional or line element. So element shape is line, element type rod, bar, beam, pipe, etc. And practical use of this line element are long shaft, beam and pin joint. So here is the example of this bar element is given with this figure. So next type is two dimensional or area element. So here one dimensional or one of the dimension is very small compared to the other two dimensions. Therefore it is known as two dimensional element. So here element shape is quadrilateral, that is chord, or triangulated, that is tria. Then element type is thin shell, plate, membrane, plane, plane stress or plane strain, etc. So these are the element types. Then practical use of these element types are sheet metal parts. So that is mostly used in automobile sector. Next type is three dimensional. In this case all the dimensions are considerable and we cannot omit any of the dimensions, and this is also known as volume element. So element shape are tetra, penta, hexa and pyramid. Element type is solid. So practical usage of this type of element of any solid body or part like engine block or crankshaft. So here example of this 3D element are given. So the first block is known as 8 node block element, that hex element. Then second is 4 node tetra element and last is 6 node prism. So these are the type of element. So then how to decide type of element? So these selections is depend on the type of analysis, geometric size and shape, and project time. So this under this type of analysis uh, we have to define the loading constraint, like whether it is static or dynamic. Then we have to define the material details like linear or non-linear. So depending on these inputs, we have to decide the type of elements. Then geometric size and shape. So here whether the geometry is one dimension, two dimension, or three dimensions. So depending on the this type of body, we have to define the type of element. Then project time. So we have to know that what is the project life cycle time of the product and solution time given by uh, your customer. So these are the parameters which define your type of element. Next is how to start meshing. So it is not like to import the geometry and start meshing immediately. Before starting the meshing, we have to consider these points. So first point is spend sufficient time in studying the geometry. So it is important to study the geometry in all directions to know the complexity and ambiguity in the geometry. Then time estimation. So this time estimation also again depend on the user. If the user is experienced one, then time estimation will be different from the new one. The next point is geometry check. For geometry check, so why it is important? Because every geometry has some free edges, scar lines, then small fillets, small holes, intersection of parts. So sometimes these features are not going to take part in analysis, but it will change your mesh pattern. So because of this distorted mesh pattern, your result are not be that much accurate. So we have to remove that feature. That's why we require geometry cleanup, we can say. It is a very important primary part of this machine. Next is symmetry check. So it is important to check the symmetry. So whether your geometry is symmetrical about plane or axis, it is complete symmetric or it is quarter symmetry, or it is a some part symmetry or repetition of the feature. So if your geometry has a features which is repeated 8 times, then you have to consider only one repeated feature. Then you have to mesh that feature and then reflect that mesh to the remaining features. So likewise, you can add symmetry to your geometry. Then selection of type of element. Again, this selection of type of element we have learned in the previous slide. Then there is another term known as joint molding. So we have to consider the bolted joints, spot and arc welding, contact or gap as a joint while meshing. So it is important to learn all these things before starting the mesh. Then why element quality checks are important? Because the shape of element in FE analysis must be distorted from their ideal shapes when meshing the irregular or complex geometry shape. So it is not possible to generate ideal shape meshing element because your geometry is not regular or it is not so simple. That's why it is possible to get the mesh of distorted one. So every element is designed to work properly within a certain range of shape distortion. So we have some certain range. For that range, the element should behave within that certain range. The ideal shape of 2D elements, that is triangular, is an equilateral, and for quadrilateral it is a square. For ideal shape of 3D element, that is tetrahedron, it is regular or isosceles tetrahedron, and for hexahedron element it is cube. If actual shape that the elements assumes after mapping on model geometry differs too much from natural shape, then element becomes degenerated and produce erroneous result. If your element that is used for the meshing differs from the ideal shape, then it will degenerate and become or produces erroneous results. So your result quality is directly proportional to the element quality. So the major type of degeneration are aspect ratio, skewness, Jacobian ratio, warping factor, maximum corner angle, orthogonal quality, parallel deviation, taper, curvature distortion, and mid-side node position. So all these nothing but your mesh quality checks. So let's understand these checks one by one. So first is wrap angle. So ideally for the nodes of chord elements should lie in the same plane, but at curvature and complicated geometry profile it is not possible. So measure of the out of plane angle is wrap angle. So we know that this chord is your two-dimensional type of element, and your all the node of this chord element should lie in the same plane. But because of this curvature and complicated geometry, it is not possible to lie all the node in the same plane. That is measure of a out of plane angle, that is known as wrap angle. So ideal values for this wrap angle is 0 degree, and acceptable values should be less than 10 degree. So wrap angle is not applicable for triangular elements. So it is defined as a angle between the normal to two planes formed by splitting the chord element along the diagonals. So maximum angle of the two possible angles are reported as a wrap angle. So this figure will show you the wrap angle. So next is aspect ratio. So aspect ratio is the ratio of maximum element edge length to minimum element edge length. So here ideal value is 1 and acceptable should be less than 5. So this figure is indicating the aspect ratio. So here the given element is distorted one, and it has two different lengths, that is L minimum and L maximum. So it is a ratio of aspect ratio is a ratio of L maximum to the L minimum. So next is skewness or skew. So ideal value is 0 degree and acceptable should be less than 45. So skewness for chord element is equal to 90 degree minus alpha. So what is meant by this alpha angle? So it is a minimum angle between the two lines joining the opposite mid sides of the element. So when if your chord element is of ideal shape, then these opposite mid side lines will form 90 degree angle, that is alpha will be 90. Therefore your quadrilateral element ideal shape value will be 0. So likewise for the triangular element, it is equal to minus 90 minus alpha. Again alpha is the minimum angle between the lines from each node to the opposite mid side and between the two adjacent mid sides at each node of the element. So here skewness is given by 90 minus alpha. Next is Jacobian. Ideal value is 1 and acceptable should be greater than 0.6. So in simple terms, Jacobian is a scale factor arising because of transformation of the coordinate system. So elements are transformed from the global coordinate system to local coordinates for faster analysis times. So your ideal value of Jacobian is 1 and acceptable should be greater than 0.6. Included angles. So this is the next mesh quality check, and this skewness is based on overall shape of the element and it does not take into account the individual angle of the quadrilateral or triangular elements. So included or interior angle check is applied for individual angles. So here for chord ideal value is 90 and acceptable value is between 45 to 135. And for triangular element ideal value is 60 and acceptable should be in between 20 to 120. So here the meshing in ANSYS workbench. So here you can see the mechanical window. The number of things are given or displayed in this window. There are a number of toolbars available with windows with it. So here at the top of this window you will find the toolbars. Then at the left side there is a two window, that is tree outline window and detail view window. At the bottom side of this window, that is three different bars are given, that is status bar, entity details bar, unit display bar. and above these bars you will find message window, and above the message window this is a graphics window. So what is there is a two type of mesh control in ANSYS Workbench, that is global mesh control and local mesh control. So global mesh control are used to make global adjustment in the meshing strategy, so which include sizing function, inflation, smoothing, defeaturing, parameter inputs, assembly meshing inputs, etc. So all these controls we are going to learn in the upcoming session, right? So minimum inputs. So automatically calculates global element size based on the smallest geometric entities. So smart features are chosen based on the physics preferences. So in global mesh control we have to give very minimum number of inputs because of the this physics preference. We have it is choose the inputs very smartly. So makes global adjustment for required level of mesh refinement. So it is applicable for all components of the assembly or the part of the assembly. That means whenever you are going, if you change any input parameter of this global mesh control, then it is going to apply to the whole parts of this assembly. So advanced size functions for resolving regions with curvature and proximity of surfaces. So in global mesh control you will find the advanced size functions. So this will resolving the regions or the regions with curvature and proximity of surfaces are meshed very efficiently. So in detail of mesh window we will find these different groups: display, default, sizing, quality, inflation, advanced, and static. So we are going to learn the number of settings which are given these under these groups one by one. So let's open our ANSYS mechanical window. So this is I have created the ANSYS a mesh component system in Product Schematic, and I have imported one of the surface body, that is two-dimensional body here, and we have to carry out this global mesh control on this surface body. So when you this is your outline, and in this outline you will find this mesh field here, and in front of this mesh field there is a thunderbolt symbol. It indicates that attention is required. That means we have to fulfill this field. We have to create the mesh using the general settings or default settings. For this, right click on this mesh field and click on this generate mesh. So it will create default mesh. So meshing is started and it is done. So here when you click on this mesh field, details of mesh are given in the details window. So different groups are listed in this window. So let's understand this group one by one. The first is display style. So here it will display the mesh style according to the options given in this selection or options. So here click on this drop down and you will find number of options available for display style. So what do you mean by that? So it will display the mesh according to these parameters of this quality check parameter. So when you click on this aspect ratio, then it will display the mesh according to the this aspect ratio parameter. So here this color band is given. The blue means it is very close to ideal shape, and red means it is deviating from your ideal shape. So your value, the ideal value or the ideal value is 1.01 and the deviated value is maximum deviated value is 3.2. So in this way you can visualize your element according to the different element or mesh checkpoints or checks, right? So under this display group there is a next group is a default. Under the default group you will find different settings like physics preference, element order, and element size. So this physics preference have a number of options like mechanical, non-linear mechanical, electromagnetic, CFD, explicit, and hydrodynamics. So depend on this type of analysis, this physics preference is set as a default. So here is a mechanical is set as a default. So Based on this physics preference, the software will perform the meshing. The next is element order. So here you will find number of settings like linear and quadratic. So when you set, I am going to change the display style as a body color. So this mesh generated is for program control, and clear this generated data here. So I am going to change this element order from component program control to the linear. So linear means straight sided elements, and it will not going to capture curvature properly. So when you choose set linear as your element order and mesh the given geometry, then see the surfaces near the curvatures. Here you will find the curvatures or the hole is captured by using the straight sided elements. When you change the setting linear to the quadratic, then you will find the difference. So again, update the mesh. So here the curvature is captured by using the second order element, because we have changed the setting as quadratic. So in this way you can change the setting as per your requirement, right? So next is element size. So element size used for the enter model, and this size will be used for meshing all edge, face and bodies. So this default value based on relevance and initial size seed. If you know the minimum edge size of from this geometry, then you can set the element size as per your requirement. If you know the dimension of the geometry, then you can give the input for the element size. So this is all about your default groups. Then next is sizing. So when you expand the sizing group, then here the first is use adaptive setting. So this setting will control the growth and distribution of mesh in important regions of high curvature or close proximity of surfaces. So this is very important setting we have whenever our geometries consist of important regions of high curvature or close proximity of surfaces, then it is recommended to keep this option or setting is as yes. So when you keep it as yes, then it will consider your curvatures and your proximity surfaces. When you keep it as no, then let's understand the change. Update the mesh. So your software will not recognize the region, important regions of high curvature or close proximity surfaces. It will generate uniform mesh. So this is the difference between yes and no of this use adaptive setting. So it is recommended to keep yes for the complex geometry. Next, resolution. So resolutions means you have range from 0 to 7. So 0 means core, it is for coarse mesh, and 7 is for fine mesh. So default value is 2. Then next is mesh defeaturing. So mesh, if this setting is kept yes, then it will remove small geometry features like free edges, small fillet, or if this setting is kept yes, then the features like hole or fillet or free edges, then duplicate surfaces having the value less than this defeature size, then it get automatically removed by the software. This is known as mesh defeaturing. So here I kept the setting to yes. So let's take here I have created one of the small hole, and size of this hole is 1 mm. The radius of this hole is 0.5 mm. So if I give the input for the diffusion size is 1 mm, then let's see the change. So our feature is get removed because of this diffusion size is more than our featuring size. So in this way you can remove the features that are going to disturb your mesh flow, right? So here keep it as a default. For this press 0, right? Then it's transition. So here transition means it controls the rate at which elements grows, right? So it controls the rate at which element grows. So there are two options available for this transition: fast and slow. So fast means there is a more abrupt transition, and slow means there is a smooth transition between the two elements. So this is known as transition. Then next is span angle center. So this setting control the curvature based refinement for edges. So whatever the edges which are present at the curvature, so these edges will be refined by doing this setting. So here number of options are given for the setting are coarse, medium, fine. So for coarse you have a range of 91 to 60. For medium span angle you have range 75 to 24, and for fine your angle range is 36 to 12. Next is initial size seed. So this initial size seed allows you to control the initial seeding of the mesh size for each part. So here two settings are available, that is assembly and second is part. So it is recommended to keep assembly as your default setting. Next is minimize this sizing and expand quality. So here first setting is check mesh quality. So here is three settings are given: no, yes, error and warning, and third is yes, errors. So it is recommended to keep yes and errors to display the or check the mesh quality. Next is error limits. So error limit setting has two options available, that is standard mechanical and second is aggressive mechanical. So this standard mechanical setting is recommended when to solve linear model stress and thermal analysis problem, and the second setting is recommended when you are going to perform large deformation or material nonlinear analysis problem. So it is recommended to keep standard mechanical setting as a default setting. Next is smoothing. Smoothing means the setting improves quality of mesh by moving location of nodes with respect to surrounding nodes. So here you can find three different settings like low, medium and high. Next is mesh metric. So here mesh metric, with this setting user can visualize or check mesh quality. So right, so default is none. When you click on this down arrow, then you will find number of parameters which is check mesh quality parameters. So here when you suppose I am going to select this aspect ratio as your mesh check quality, then so here we will find the mesh matrix. So expand this mesh matrix window, and here is a bar chart, and on the x-axis you will find element matrices, and on the y-axis it is number of elements. So number of bars are given, and here the ideal value for this aspect ratio is 1, right? So first bar having the aspect ratio is 1.09, so number of elements of this size are 267. Similarly the next bar having the aspect ratio value is 1.26 and number of elements are 451. So here you can see the number of element of size 1.26. So in this way we can check the number of elements of the which are close to your ideal shape, or number of elements which are deviating from your ideal shape. So here at the last bar you can see the aspect ratio value is 2.11, and there are total 21 number of elements available with this size. So acceptable is less than 5, so it is this type of mesh is acceptable. Next similarly you can again change to skewness. So again this is your element quality check. Similarly, you can find a number of bars here, and it will show the values of your skewness. So for the first bar, the skewness value is 0.03, and with this value we have 237 elements. Similarly, second bar having the skewness value is 0.113 and number of elements are 259. So in this way we can see the element quality by doing these element quality checks. So next, after this quality group, there is a inflation group. So inflation is used to generate thin cells adjacent to the boundary. So whenever there is a boundary, we have to capture this boundary using the number of cells or thin cells which are adjacent to these boundaries. So the first setting is inflation options. So default setting is smooth transition. There are number of options available with inflation options. So total thickness, first layer thickness, smooth transition, first aspect ratio and last aspect ratio. So it is recommended to keep this smooth transition as your default setting for inflation option. So when you keep this smooth transition as your default setting, then there is a subsetting available for this type of setting. The first were transition ratio. So we know that what is meant by transition ratio, and for this we have ranges from 0 to 1, and your default value is 0.272. Similarly, the next subsetting is maximum layers. So this maximum layer determines the number of inflation layer to be created in the mesh. So how many layers we want for this type of geometry. So this is vary by using these maximum layers. So here default is 2 for surface body and it is 5 for solid body, and you can generate or you can create a number of maximum layers 1 to 1000. So next is growth rate. So this growth rate, this control determines the relative thickness of adjacent inflated layers. So what is the thickness of adjacent layer? It is given by this growth rate. So our default value is 1.2 and the valid value for are from 0.1 to 5. So this for this growth rate we have range from 0.1 to 5, and your default value is 1.2. So here next is advanced, and these advanced setting are not going to see in this lecture. So last one, your statistics. So in statistics you will find number of nodes and elements created during meshing. So as we change any setting in global control or local control, then these statistics will show the number of nodes and elements present in the meshing. So this is all about your global mesh control in ANSYS Workbench. So please like, share and comment and subscribe the channel. Thank you.